Live.
Hi guys, I'm sorry I can't make it to Pink Sock Podcast today because I'm a little busy. I'm working on some things, but in my absence, please give it up for the one, the only, Adam Gorak, with the lovely Naomi.
God, when I saw that, I was just like, that is just no. Typical Mike. Hello,
It is
everybody.
typical Mike.
It is
Expect
typical
anything
Mike.
else. Yeah.
Hello, everybody in the
Hi,
chat.
everyone.
I am your captain today, Senor Gorak, with my co-host Naomi. How you doing, Naomi?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm gonna try and get this name badge up. How do I get the names up? You know how to do it?
In the banners.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Much better. Never look professional. Yeah, I'm doing good. It's been
good.
It's see, like, people are liking that video now, and we're probably good, get famous for that now as well.
Oh,
but
sure, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's just say hello to everybody first in the chat for wasting their time seeing us. I'm sorry, guys, but you have no choice. But hi Jackie, hi Andes,
hi Jackie, hi Anders.
Marta, is it Marta? Yeah, Marta.
Hi Marta.
Sounds like a death metal album name. Renee's in the house.
Hi Renee.
Bellen's in the house. And yeah,
hi Bellen.
We can't really check who's on live on Facebook, but Facebook sucks anyway. But yeah, so you went for a job interview recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so you reckon you got the job?
I hope so, yeah.
Like, is it the same like job that you're doing now?
No, it isn't.
No, so you're doing something different.
Yeah, the job I've got now is just it's a little part-time job.
Yeah, that's all right. So you're going to be still working at the second job?
No, I'll have to stop.
Yeah, I try working two jobs.
Yeah.
It actually killed me. Like, I'll be working at a cafe restaurant for 3 days.
Yeah.
Have a day off, and then work at my other job and do split shifts.
Oh, yeah. How many hours did you?
What's that? Sorry.
How many hours did you end up working?
A lot.
A week? Is that a lot? Yeah. Lost count.
A lot. Yeah. It really drained the shit out of me. Hey, Farah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the
Hi,
disaster show. Because Mike's not here, and we're here to destroy it. Well, Mike's not here because we had an argument over royalties. I've been taking he wants his share of the Spotify money, and I said no, I want the share of the Spotify money. So he's like, well, fuck you, I'm not coming on the show. And I'm like, well, fuck you, I'm taking over. So
I sat on the toilet now.
Yeah. Nah, I'm joking. Love you, Mike.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere
you do.
listening to this show that's going into shit, hi.
And hi, Danny, as well. Seen Danny in the chat.
Very nice. Yeah, so yeah, working two jobs is very draining, especially in the hospitality industry. I could never do it again.
No.
Like, Dan the man's in the house. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Yeah. Doing two jobs like in hospitality industry. I can't do it anymore. I'm getting too old now. Like, I'm 36.
It gets harder the older you get to deal with. Yeah, that's when I think back to when I first was qualified, and I did radiography, and I used to work some weeks nearly 50 hours a week, and then so it was nights and early shifts, and that was hard.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I've been working in the hospitality industry for maybe close to 13 years now, and my
yeah,
knees and lower back are fucked.
yeah. Oh
My
yeah, same. Yeah,
Yeah, like I don't know about you, because like you're like standing up all the time.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely killed your knees. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I find when I bend, my knees click.
Yeah, so do mine. Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of the work we had to do was we had to use our knees to
Oh
stand
yeah.
up and yeah,
Yeah.
and bend
Mine's
down.
just like
Yeah,
from bloody standing up all day and bending down and grabbing stuff from the bloody little
yeah,
fridge. And I remember one night at work, it was quiet. It was just like me and the kitchen hand. I call her Junior because she's only 17, so she's like my
yeah.
junior kitchen hand. And I was just like, I was like, I'm just gonna sit down and eat my dinner. Got the crate out, sat down, and and she goes, "I heard that," and I'm like, "Yeah, that was my knees."
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah, and my lower back is not the best either. It's
No, with
it's
standing, yeah, and that,
it
yeah.
is. Yeah. So kids, if you want a good career, don't become a chef. This is
Although
co- this is
careers
this
when
is
you
coming from a
sat,
chef
yeah,
himself.
careers when you sat down as well, that can have other problems,
Mm,
sitting down the whole time.
office workers as well
Yeah.
and
I
stuff
know
like
we
that.
used to stand for hours a day, and sometimes in my job, I had to go to the operating theatre to work and be in there hours and wear a lead apron, and they were heavy after a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit down for fucking hours, man. The last time I sat down for
Well, that
hours
was
is
stood up
when
for hours.
the last time I actually sat down for hours is when we were in lockdown for 4 months.
Yeah. Oh, I did at times as well, sitting down, making sure my kids worked. Because as soon as I went and did anything, that my back would turn. That were it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'd sit there and watch them.
Have you ever done yoga or anything like that? Have you tried
Yeah, I have.
yoga?
I've tried. Yeah,
It's so
tried.
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to do it every morning, then I kind of slacked off a bit, but now I'm gonna trying to do it maybe 4 days a week
Yeah.
at least. It really helps, especially like for if you have like lower back pain as
Yes, it
well.
does. Yeah, the stretching, yeah, and things. It's
Yeah, I
good for
highly
that.
recommend it. You young
Yeah.
and old chickens out there with bad backs and knees. So 36 ain't old. Yes, it is, Jackie. Doesn't mean you're older than me. I'm old too. So I'm in the oldies club.
Well, that
I
means
just
I
don't look
am then
old.
as well.
I just don't look old. One of my best friends, I used to work with, he just opened up his cafe restaurant yesterday. Him and his
Yeah.
girlfriend, and we went and saw the new Batman movie. And
Oh
I haven't.
yeah.
It was fucking amazing. I'm not gonna say much,
Oh
but
great.
it was like possibly the best Batman since the Dark Knight,
Yeah.
in my
Oh
opinion.
brilliant.
Yeah, and I was chatting to Scotty Hagen on Instagram saying that, dude, after that, I hope they make like 5 more Batman movies after that because that was fucking brilliant.
Oh, that's good. It is a good one.
It was great, yeah, and it was so funny because
Yeah.
he's like, dude, I haven't seen you in so long, man. I'm like, I've missed you so much. I'm like, dude, I miss you too. And he goes, you know what, man? You haven't aged in the last 5 years. I'm like, apart from my hair, but it's all good.
Yeah.
And that, but yeah, have you been watching any good movies lately? Because I've been watching a ton of horror movies.
I haven't watched any films. My kids, when they get into a program, then we have to keep watching it over and over again. So I've been watching this British TV show with them called Benidorm, and they just keep, when they get to the end of the 10 series, they want to start watching it again and again and again. And I think it's getting to the stage now where I could just reel off most of the dialogue off by
Do
heart.
you do you
It's
remember the
hilarious, though, but
Do you remember the TV show? Is it 40 Towers?
yes, I do. Yeah,
Yeah, I used to
yeah,
binge
I
watch
remember
that
that.
with my parents back in the day when there was
Yeah,
like
I
nothing on
remember.
TV. and
I
stuff
remember
like
seeing
that.
that. Yeah,
I watched this
yeah,
really, really shitty good B-graded horror movie on my lunch break at work, and I,
yeah.
I dragged my mate into watching it. He works with me. It's called Velocipasta, and I'll show you it. And I got clips, or not clips, like pictures that I found before
Right.
this. It's a priest that turns into a fucking dinosaur. And it's so fucking B graded. The acting is so bad. It's friggin' amazing.
That just sounds like so bad it's good.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's better than Sharknado. I'm sorry, guys, but like Sharknado sucked ass. Anyway, so
I
I
like
came across.
sometimes. Yeah, these sort of programs are the best, aren't they?
Yeah, well, okay. So this is no CGI here, kids. This is actually somebody in a suit.
That's good.
This is like old vintage like Godzilla, like what? Early 60s maybe, 30s, 40s, 50s or whatever when they made the Godzilla movies with this like the guys with the suits. This is what like Godzilla movies should be now, like this. As you could see the guy like it kind of looks like he has a bad back, but it's like I think it's the guy's head.
Yeah, I was wondering that. It definitely looks like he's got a very bad back going on there.
Yeah, but if it was purple, he could be Barney.
He would.
Barney the evil dinosaur, like
Oh, I've
destroying
forgotten
people.
about Barney. I remember
Yeah,
hearing
and
about that years ago.
it was on YouTube, and someone posted a full movie up on YouTube because I couldn't find it anywhere to stream it or buy it.
Yeah.
And one of the bar supervisors like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm like, "Dude, watch this." He just looks at him like, "What is wrong with you? How can you watch this shit?" And there's this scene when he gets to the main bad guy, and his arms are like the claws,
Yeah.
and like he grabs his head, and you know straight away it's fucking fake. Like there's none of that CGI shit. Soon as it pops his head out, it's a mannequin. It's so fucking cheesy. Yeah. I love it. I'll definitely watch it
That's
again.
brilliant.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Ooh, what's Dan got up here? Sorry.
Yeah. Been in Barney's corporate office.
Ooh, what was that like?
Yeah. I want to know more.
I actually want to know, like, since Barney is a kid show, why isn't he wearing pants?
Yeah, exactly.
Like seriously, like Winnie the Pooh doesn't wear pants. That's kind of creepy.
No, just a t-shirt.
Just a t-shirt, you know. Barney doesn't wear pants. Pooh Bear,
But the
is it? No, is it Tigger?
dinosaurs, yeah, the dinosaurs wear underpants book. My kids used to have it when they were little. All the dinosaurs wore pants in that.
It's just like high security in his office. Oh god damn it! I figure that you probably like snuck in and hung out with him.
I would have thought Barney would have been in charge of his own security. Looks like he could duff somebody up.
Maybe, eh? Yeah, like how could those be kids shows if they're not wearing pants? That's kind of fucking creepy.
And
like,
Teletubbies as well. They don't wear anything.
They're freaky as shit. I don't know what's more scary, like Pennywise, like this version of Pennywise, or the Teletubbies.
Teletubbies, definitely. And the
I remember
sunshine as well on it, with the baby face.
Damn it.
Wow.
You could have done some Mission Impossible shit there, Dan.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Crawling through it.
Yeah. You could have done some like some Mission Impossible shit, man, and just like see who's under the purple suit. You know? Could be Pennywise. Could be Freddy Krueger.
Sort of corporate Scooby-Doo.
Could be Jason Voorhees that's like friggin' Barney.
Be.
Who knows? You know? Like, yeah, that's kind of disturbing to see kid shows like that. That's not wearing pants.
Yeah.
Because like they'd be like, Mum, I don't want to wear pants because Pooh Bear doesn't wear pants.
I'd never really
Like-
thought about it till now, and now I'm not going to be able to unthink that.
Well, have you seen the Lion King movie, the recent one?
No, I've
came
not
out,
seen
I
it.
think like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
The real life one. Me and my sister went and watched it at the movies when it first came out, and I thought it was good, but what I thought was really weird, they had no buttholes. So I don't know what the fuck happened there. It was a good movie. Like I thought it was great. I thought the
Except for that.
actors that did the voices was good. Hey, Funky's in the
Hi,
house.
Funky.
Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. I'm high on caffeine right now. Took some fish oil tablets and good to go. And haven't had any sleep, so yeah.
I've got a cup of tea again. Hi, little bee.
It's actually a really good movie. It kind of sticks to the original a little bit, but I don't know if it's on any streaming services where you at. Maybe just download it illegally. I don't know, but the usual pink sock talk. Yeah, we were talking about the Lion King characters that has no buttholes.
And Barney Barney the dinosaur doesn't wear pants.
No, not
Neither
at all.
does Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, go and watch it. It's actually a pretty good movie. I thought it was better than Aladdin because I did the real version of Aladdin with Will Smith, I think, as the genie or some shit like that. And it can't beat Robin Williams as the genie. No way. Like you remember the cartoon movie Aladdin back in the
Yeah, I remember that.
If you didn't, we can't be friends.
No, I've seen that one, definitely.
Yeah, they redone it and made a real life version of it, and they had Will Smith as the genie, and it was terrible. It wasn't the same. Nothing against Will Smith. Will Smith's a good actor, but it just wasn't really the same.
Yeah.
You know? And I don't know why they keep doing reboots. Why can't I come up with something
else? Yeah.
Well, I came up with this idea, and people might think I'm crazy here. And I told my supervisor about this too, because we're sort of into like old school horror movies. I said to him, Steve, I call him Uncle Steve because he's old, or Uncle Fester because he kind of looks like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family.
Oh yeah.
He hates that. Yeah. And I'm like, yo, Steve, like you like Jaws, yeah? I'm like, yeah, Jaws is like one of my top favorite horror movies. I'm like, mine too. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. That's why I don't really go to the beach. And I said, like, would you like to see a remake of Jaws? He goes, hell no. I'm like, dude, listen to me. Like, remake Jaws, but like audition the real sharks, so you can train the real sharks to be in the movie.
Yeah.
So it can have like real sharks in movies killing people.
Sounds good, that.
Yeah, send a link if you need a guest. I will send a link up there now before I forget, because I am old and I forget. Where is the invite button?
And I'm older.
No, you're not. You're like 32, are you?
No.
All right. I'll put up the link up here. There we go. Yeah. It's up here. It's up here now, Dan, if you want to come and hang out for like a bit with us cool people, because we're cooler than Mike, because we actually show up to the show. Jokes, Mike, I love you. Ooh, real sharks. Yeah, wouldn't you like to see a real shark in a movie? None of that CGI shit. Like, honestly, like, if they're gonna do another Godzilla movie, it has to be like this.
It does, yeah.
You know, like, don't spend money on stupid CGI shit. Like, yeah, but yeah, I've been watching a ton of movies lately, like a ton of movies. Yeah, today on my lunch break I watched is it The Conjuring?
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I watched it and it wasn't that scary. Like, do you believe exorcism is real?
It might be.
Yeah, I don't know. We should ask Dan this one. Dan's in the house here. I'll add him to the stream right now.
I wouldn't rule
Hello,
it
bud.
out.
Hey, guys.
Definitely not.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
That's good.
How's my audio sound?
Oh,
Great.
you sound
like
a pro.
Great.
Okay, cool.
You sound like you should be on radio right now.
You know, you were talking about Jaws earlier. Well,
yeah.
When Jaws first came out, I was stationed overseas and over in Guam. And a friend of mine came up to me. He goes, "Man, let's go check out that movie Jaws." I go, Jaws? I'd never heard of it before. He kept saying, "Man, it's a kick-ass movie," you know. And I thought he was talking about a porno.
Brilliant.
Hey,
I said,
I
don't
never
want to
know, dude. There could be one out there.
I told him, I don't want to go see a porno. He goes, "No, it's about a shark." Okay, cool.
Yeah, that movie fucking scared me when I was like really young, watching that on TV.
I think the
It
scariest.
made me not want to swim in the beach at all.
I think the scariest part of the whole movie for me was
them.
the scariest part of the whole movie for me was when he's underwater, but looking underneath that boat. All of a sudden, that head pops out of the hole of the ship, right in front of the camera, and the eyeball sticking out.
Like back then, it would have been so scary. But you watch it now, like you look at the effects now, and like it's so cheesy as shit.
Yeah.
You know, but they made like what 3 or 4 Jaws movie now.
Yeah,
3.
And in 3D,
like
I think 3D is one of them was 3D.
Was that the first one?
No, I think that was the third one. I think that's why they.
Oh, really?
I have to double check. It's been a while.
Yeah, same. Like I love shark movies, but the worst one was Sharknado.
Oh, jeez.
Have you seen that?
Oh, I have.
It's horrible. I've watched all 5 of them, just out of boredom.
There was 5 of them.
I think there was 5. I'm pretty sure there was 5, but it was so fucking bad.
I watched the first one. You know, it's like, really?
Yeah, like it's like it's been raining and like thunderstorming here in Australia where I live now, and I'm just like I said to myself, I'm like, yeah, it's probably gonna be like some sharks just popping down from the sky.
You know, like I said, I was stationed over in Guam back in '75 and '76, and you know, there's a lot of sharks over there, and that's when the movie came out, and I used to go scuba diving. Yeah. And it was after that movie, there's an area in the harbor area where there's a lot of old ships that are tied up. They've been there for years. And we used to go out there and jump off the ships and swim, scuba dive. Well, I was out there scuba diving one day, and probably about a 10-foot hammerhead came swimming by.
Oh,
First time I ever saw a shark while I'm in the water with it, you know. I just kind of just stood still. I didn't move at all. And he just swam on by me, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got the hell out of the water.
That's fucking scary as shit. I would have been shitting myself right there.
So I worked on the dry docks over there. We used to dry dock nuclear subs, and the dry dock's probably about 100 feet above the water level. And we had these huge floodlights that would shine down on the ramp that would you'd walk up to the dry dock. And at nighttime, that light would draw fish. I mean, they're good fishing out there. But you could always tell when a shark was coming because the fish would start jumping out of the water. I mean, there'd be all sorts of commotion. Now you're looking there goes a shark under the pier. You know, and we saw all sorts of cool stuff over there.
Fuck.
Sounds interesting, yeah.
You know,
would you do that again?
Not now. I was like 18 years old then. I've gotten smarter with age.
Yeah. Well, you did the right thing then. Well, apparently, there was a shark attack maybe a week or 2 ago in Sydney, Australia. This guy, like, he was a professional diver, and I think he was just he went for a dive in his usual spot, and I think he was training for something, and a big great white shark just came behind and mauled him to death. And it was like one of the first shark attacks that ever happened in Australia in that area in like 60 years or so. And video went viral.
You know, I spent so much time in the ocean when I was younger, you know, being in the Navy and everything, you know, always out at sea. And, you know, I got tired of the water. You know, I live I live probably about half a mile from a lake. I've never swam in that lake. And I've lived here 41 years. I just don't go in the water. I just don't go in the water anymore. It doesn't impress me. You know, well, I was out at the lake. You know, I was out at the lake last week, as a matter of fact. And, you know, last show I was talking about 360 cameras. I finally got my 360 camera, and I thought, well, you know, I'm going to head down to the lake and do a couple of shots with the new camera. Well, there's about a 3-foot dirt embankment that goes down to the beach. I got my camera all ready. I got my selfie stick. First step on that embankment, up in the air, man, flat on my back. You know.
Yeah.
Man, I was bleeding all over the place.
Oh no!
But you know, my back and my right hip and my right leg was sore for like 48 hours. But luckily, nothing's broken, and I'm back to normal now.
Oh, that's good then.
You know,
oh, that's good. Yeah.
First time I've ever had a video production injury.
But hey, look, you're fine now. That's all that matters.
I'm good.
But like, see, like when I go to the beach now, I normally go up to the waist up because like I watched Piranha for the first time. That put me off. And it wasn't the original, it was the remake one or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while since I watched it. I think one of them had David Hasselhoff at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after watching that movie, it kind of put me off because like piranhas, man. They could be anywhere. Next minute you're in the water. Next minute you'll have nothing left. What's that, Naomi?
They're normally in rivers, aren't they? The piranhas, I think.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary.
I went piranha fishing once. I went piranha fishing.
Oh, did you? How was that?
It was good. I caught a couple. It was in Venezuela back in 2006. Me and my husband went on holiday there and on the Orinoco River.
Can you eat piranha?
Yeah, I think one of the tour guides had fished one out and then cooked it for his dinner.
Wow,
good.
They fed us tourists something else.
Yeah.
Well, it's better you eat the piranha than the piranha eating you.
Exactly.
That is so true. And Andy's no. I will continue to watch those movies. Okay, you're not my dad. I love watching horror movies. I'm a big horror nerd. Anything from Halloween, even though most of it doesn't make sense because the timeline is all over the place. But I really enjoyed watching the Scream movies.
Yeah, I really like the first Scream movie.
Have you seen the new one there, Scream 5 that came out?
I've only watched the very first Scream. That was it. I haven't seen any of the sequels.
The fifth one was kind of like a reboot, sort of. It's like they're reenacting with new characters of the first movie, but then they brought back like the old characters back to help them out. It's actually pretty good. I watched it like maybe twice already, and I highly recommend it. I actually liked it better than I'll probably get hate for it, but I liked it better than Halloween Kills because it made more sense.
You know, since I'm from Texas, I like watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies.
Those are good. Same.
And the guy that played Leatherface, I think it was in the 2000 version. I actually know him. You know,
2003 version. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I forgot who all's in there now, but Andrew Branowski is Leatherface, and I know Andrew.
Oh, nice! No way.
Yeah.
That dude's massive.
Yeah, he is. He also played in movies like with Al Pacino, Any Given Sunday. He was in that movie. He was a football player in that movie. But I got to know him through Dimebag. Him and Dimebag were good friends. And the first time I met him was in 2017 when 2007 when Dimebag was inducted into the Rock Walk out in Hollywood. First time I met him.
That's cool.
Oh, right.
He did a really good job playing as Leatherface in that remake, I reckon.
Yeah, I think one of the best scenes is the ending scene where he's walking down the road and he's just swinging that chainsaw back and forth as he's walking down the road.
That's like the most iconic scene in that movie, especially the original as well.
Now the original one is scary because I saw that when I was younger. That actually scared me. The first one did, where they got the girl, or they got the I can't think it's a girl, got her over the bucket, and Grandpa's got the hammer, trying to hit her, and he can't hit her very well. He's so old.
Yeah,
man, that movie, just the appearance of that movie, the cinematic look of it was just scary.
Yeah. I've got the I think I've got the 50th anniversary of that movie on Blu-ray.
Now I just saw the recent version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It just came out.
Oh, the new one on Netflix. What did you think of it?
It's kind of a joke.
Yeah, I know.
To me, I laughed through the whole thing. It wasn't scary at all. Even though there was blood and guts and body parts, it was funny. The funniest scene I thought was the bus massacre, where he gets in the bus
with the phones and the Instagram like, come on, guys, that is so dumb. Like you're like 2 seconds away to get mauled by a guy with a fucking chainsaw. Like,
yeah. Now, and some of that is true. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre story is partially true.
It is, yeah.
They use some of the original names, but then over the years, the remakes, it's kind of diluted. It's not even close to the original story anymore. But the first one was close. It had the names, the city, because I've been by right where this supposedly happened. There's just south of Waco, Texas. And,
oh wow!
So it's partly true, but most of it's Hollywood.
Yeah, of course. Well, I guess they probably wouldn't want to make it like, what he actually done in real life. They'd probably want to make it a little bit different.
Yeah, they made it a lot worse. I mean, more gross.
Well, that's what they did with the first Scream movie. The first Scream movie was based on the Greensville Reaper.
Ah.
Because I watched the documentary on the making of the Scream movie, and apparently Wes Craven got the idea from that. So apparently there's gonna be a 2 or 3 part series documentary about the Greensville Reaper that inspired the movie Scream. I didn't know that until I was watching that behind the scenes documentary of Scream when they were talking about it. But the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, I totally agree. It was a bit of a fucking joke. I thought I kind of liked that how they brought back the surviving lady, whatever her name was.
Yeah.
And she's like, and she had a chance to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
They always hesitate.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Well, and then I don't understand how she survived. Remember, he got her pretty good, and she was still alive.
Yeah.
I'm going, come on, a normal human would have been dead. There's no doubt.
Right. I find that they copied the concept from Halloween 18 and Scream 5 because they all came out in the same year, sort of. Well, I think they were all filmed and written at the same time.
I'll tell you what, probably one of the scariest movies I ever saw was it's an Andy Warhol movie, Frankenstein. Frankenstein in 3D.
Oh, right.
Oh my God. I was 16 years old. It was at the time it was rated X because of the gore. And somehow I was able to get in the theater. I wasn't 18. I was only 16, but I was able to go watch it. And I was by myself. I was riding my motorcycle that night and stopped and saw the movie. Afterwards, I go outside and it's dark out. I'm going, oh, geez, And the whole time I kept picturing that movie in my head. It scared the hell out of me. I got home as fast as I could,
Yeah.
But if you ever get a chance to see Andy Warhol Frankenstein in 3D, it doesn't have to be in 3D, but I saw it in 3D.
Yeah.
Which makes it even scary. I mean, when you got the gore right in front of your face, I mean, oh my God. Decapitated. That was 1974, I believe.
Damn. See, that's where all the original good horror movies were at then. Now it's just like reboots.
Also, another time in that same time frame was The Exorcist. That came out in 73. And same thing, I had just gotten my driver's license. And so a bunch of my buddies, there's probably about 4 or 5 of us, decided we're going to go see the movie. So I'm driving the family station wagon. I pick up all my buddies. We go down to the theater. We're watching the movie. And when we left the movie, it scared the hell out of all of us, but we're too tough to to admit that it scared the hell out of us. So on the way home, we're joking about it, laughing about it, Then I drop off one of my buddies. Now there's only like 3 of us in the car. We're still joking and laughing about it. I drop off the next guy. Now there's like 2 of us in the car. Next thing I know, I'm in the car by myself. Oh man, I was scared to death. I slept with the lights on.
It's a scary film.
I slept with the lights on that night, and under the covers. I mean, and I was 16 years old. It just scared the hell out of me. But then later on in life, when I joined the Navy, we went out to sea one time, and we were out there for about 2 weeks. And back in those days, we didn't have video; it was all film. You know, we had movie on the mess decks, so you get the projector out, you put the movie on, and normally you stock up on movies when you know you're going to be out to sea for a while. Well, this time we only had one movie on board, and it was The Exorcist. You know, I saw The Exorcist 26 times. I used to know every word in that movie.
That would have traumatized you for weeks.
Well, after a while, it desensitizes you. You know, it's not scary anymore.
No, not after you watch it 26 times.
No, it's a good film.
You know?
But yeah, it was one of the scary ones.
And like I seen like the behind the scene footage of that, and I see it pop up like on Instagram and how they did the effects, and I think that's what movies should be done like that now. None of that, you know, green screen CGI shit. Because like back in the old days, man, that was the real deal. Like the horror back then was like low budget horror films that probably didn't make that much money. And now they're like cult classics. I remember watching The Exorcist for the first time when I was 14, 13, well, maybe 14, 15 years old. My brother brought it home on DVD and I put it on. I'm like, whoa. And did you hear that they're doing a remake?
Oh, The Exorcist?
The Exorcist.
It's coming out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's coming out next year. They made, I believe they've done 2 more after the first one, I believe. Or they've done 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of them was The Heretic, and I forgot the other one.
Yeah, and then what else? They brought out like The Exorcism of Emily Rose or something like that. That's a true story.
That's an old one, right?
It's been out for maybe over
for quite a few years.
15, 20 years now.
Oh, yeah. Because there's another one, a similar name that came out back when I was in the military. So that would be like 76, 77. I can't remember the name of it. But it had the name Rose in it. I can't remember.
Oh, Emily Rose?
Yeah, Emily Rose, I think. Is what it was.
Emily Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen that one too. I can't remember. There's been so many of those movies out I can't really fucking keep up with it anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But do you still talk to is it Andrew, the guy that played Leatherface in the 2003 remake?
We're friends. We're friends on Facebook. That's about it. You know, he'll comment sometimes, but
have you seen him in person as much or?
No, I've only met him that one time. And he recognized me. He recognized me, which is weird. I was at a restaurant, and I hear someone yelling my name. I look up, and there he is on the other side of the restaurant calling me, you know. And I go, who is that?
Dude, that's awesome. Like, Leatherface remembers you.
Well,
that's kind of creepy, but cool at the same time.
Well, the only reason he knew me because I was, I was the founder of Ride for Dime, and he was following that, so he knew who I was.
Still, that's pretty badass.
To me, he wasn't wearing his leather face, so I didn't recognize him. So.
I'm pretty sure he played. I think he was Leatherface in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. Well,
that's the one I believe. The Beginning. I think that's the one.
The Beginning and the remake. Yeah, The Beginning was my favorite one as well. I thought that was great, and then it kind of all went downhill from there.
Yeah, I'm just glad Leatherface is my friend. You know,
dude. Now I know somebody that knows Leatherface. Got to get him on here. Like that's pretty cool, man. Like
it is cool, yeah.
Yeah, but the original Leatherface guy that passed away a couple of years ago, I can't remember his name, but he's like the king of traumatizing you for the rest of your life.
Hey,
type of thing.
Royce in the house is in the house.
Yeah. Royce is in. Royce is. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the link's up on the chat, Royce. If you want to come,
I'll find the link.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's cool. So you mentioned Dime a lot. So like, have you ever gotten to hung out with Dime or anything like that?
Oh yeah, I knew Dime for 20 years.
Damn, what's he
Yeah.
like as a person? Like outside, because like I've seen documentaries and stuff, and from what I've seen, like he's a party animal, but like he's just like a really down to earth dude.
Yeah, he was just like one of the guys. That's
Yeah,
what made it. That's what made him special. He didn't become all rock star.
yeah,
He continued being Daryl. To me, when I knew him as Daryl. Stage name was Dimebag, but
yeah,
everybody knows him as Dimebag. But to me, he was always Daryl. And
yeah.
the first time I saw him first time I met him was 1985, I think it was. It was before Phil Anselmo even joined the band. It was the first time I met him.
This is
And
when they were glam, yeah.
somewhat glam, yeah.
Yeah.
The spandex and the big hair, and
Yeah, they could have kept that look, man.
Yeah.
but to be honest, though, I met him by accident because a girl I worked with, her boyfriend was a drummer in a band, and she kept harassing me.
Hi, Royce.
Hi.
Yeah, this girl kept harassing me, saying, "You got to check out my boyfriend's band." I said, "Oh," so I finally decided, I'm going to go check him out. I'm hearing some feedback somewhere.
I think it's Royce.
Are we okay?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good now.
So anyway, this girl was harassing me to go see her boyfriend's band. So I finally went and saw him, and they opened up for Pantera. Well, I had never heard of Pantera before, and they come out with a glam look and all that. And I told my wife, I said, "Yeah, I'm done here." I didn't care for it, at the time. And I guess it's several years later when Phil joined the band, I happened to be at the club called The Basement, and and that was one of the first times Phil ever performed with Pantera. And it kind of caught my ear then. Then probably about 2 years later, I guess it was, I hear him on the radio. They're playing Cowboys from Hell. And I thought, man, that's a kick-ass song.
Yeah.
And then the DJ comes on and he says, "That's Local Boys Pantera." I'm going, what? That's the same band I heard 5 years ago? So I started kind of following him in the newspaper because we didn't have the internet back then. And I saw Pantera was playing all over town all the time. I thought, I got to check these guys out. So I checked them out a couple of times, and I kind of liked them, And then and then I started working at the band called Aska. I ended up being their manager for a while, for about 6 years. And Dime was friends with the lead singer of Aska. So Dime used to stop by the gigs all the time. And that's how I got to know him. And then once Pantera broke up, there was about a 3-year gap between Pantera and Damage Plan.
Yeah.
And Dime was always hanging around Ask all the time, always performing with them, local gigs. And there was a lot of insight in those 3 years, what was going on with the two bands. There was a split in the Pantera fan base.
So I've heard,
Yeah, and so the Pantera fans are kind of turning on each other. And so Damage, he used to come into the gigs and tell us, we're working on a new band called Newfound Power. Oh, cool, And he'd keep us up to date what's going on. And he finally told us, no, we changed the name to Damage Plan, And the story behind that was, they're going to go out and get this band together. And they're going to cause some damage. And somehow it evolved into Damage Plan. That was their plan, to cause damage.
Yeah.
And but the Newfound Power ended up being one of their number one songs on that album.
Yeah.
So they changed that up. So I saw the transition between Pantera and into Damage Plan. And unfortunately, that only lasted from February until December. They released the album in February 10th, I believe, of 2004. And I went to 5 of the shows. Actually, we went out to Vegas with them once for a show, went to Oklahoma City with them. And it was like, I remember Vinny coming up to me one time at the clubhouse, and he was saying, I think they had just finished doing a show called Freakers Ball. No, BFD. It was one of the first big shows here in Dallas. And after we had an after party, and I remember Vinny telling me, he had his drink up, and he goes, just imagine, he goes, 8 years from now, he said, you can say you were here when it all started. I go, yeah, but it only lasted 10 months and it was over,
Yeah.
And then the shooting happened in December.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I think that was, what day of December was that? Was it the 7th?
December 8th.
8th. So it was 2 days before my birthday. I remember that.
Yeah.
I cried.
Well, Dime had already told us before they left on that, they were on the MTV 2 tour. And they were pretty busy. They only had a couple of breaks after the album came out, and they were home the first part of November of 2004. And Dime had told us, he goes, when we get off this tour, he said, we're all going to go to Six Flags, man. We're going to have Damage Plan night at Six Flags. They got a big Christmas thing at Six Flags. Oh, cool. So we kind of followed their tour, and we got word that there was one more stop that they had to do in Columbus, Ohio. And we thought, well, they'll be home any day. And then I got the word, within minutes after the shooting, that something had gone on out there. And there was a lot of confusion that night. Who was hit, who wasn't hit, but it was confirmed that Dime was gone, and they didn't know they didn't know this. They didn't know the status of Vinny or anybody else because there were 5 people. Well, 4 victims that night, plus the shooter was killed. So there's 5 dead people there that night, and nobody knew who they were. We waited the whole night until we finally got word that Vinny was okay. Dime's bodyguard was killed. Their manager was shot, but survived. Vinny's drum tech was shot 3 times. He was the one that was being held hostage in a neck hold.
Was that Cat?
That was Cat, yeah.
Yeah.
John Brooks. And, he shot in the leg, shot in the chest, and shot in the arm, I believe. And he was out of the hospital in like 3 days. And, well, and if you know Cat, that guy, you can't keep that guy down. Oh, my God, that guy's he's a party animal.
From what I heard from I think it's the VH1 behind the music of Pantera. Yeah, like it was pretty well that happened. What happened in that nightclub that night. Like,
yeah, I still keep in contact. I still keep in contact with Cat every now and then. When my wife passed away back last May, and Cat called me up and said, that if I needed anything at all, he said the Pantera crew was standing by to help me out. So that was cool to hear. Yeah.
Have you been in contact with Rex Brown or anything like that? Or?
No, I really never knew Rex that well. There's always, I hung out with Diamond Vinny, not so much Rex or Phil.
I've seen Phil Anselmo twice live, like with his band Down. And the last time I saw him live was maybe 2 years ago at a pizza bar in Sydney. It was Phil Anselmo and the Illegals with local band King Parrot, and it was like a small club, like 500 people, and people were going fucking nuts. He was playing like all terror stuff with his band. He did great, but everybody were like on tables and like hanging on to like the lamp. Bloody ceilings and shit. It was great. Like it was awesome. But it sucked. I've never got to see Pantera live, and I believe was it Vulgar Display Power turns 30 today or something like that?
A couple of days ago, I believe. But
or
I know it's a 30th.
Yeah, on YouTube or something like that. Like 30 years, man. Like 30 years gone quick.
They sold Vinny's house here recently. It was on the market for $750,000, and not sure who bought it. But man, there was a lot of parties at Vinny's house. Oh my God!
I could.
I was kind of sad that they sold it. There's a lot of rumors going around that somebody should buy it and turn it into like a Pantera museum. But I doubt that's gonna. And I thought, well, they really ought to do it to Dime's house. Rita still owns, Dime's house, and that's
Dime's
where
house and stuff. Yeah,
that's where the studio is. The Chase and Jason Studios, in his backyard, he's got a studio out there. That's where I think 3 of the Pantera albums were recorded, as well as Damage Plan and Hell Yeah. They all recorded in that studio, and to be in that studio is something else. I was there. Last time I was there was in 2016. We had a big meeting over there, and walked in there, and the Pantera gear is still in there. Still got set list on the speakers and things, and you're going, wow, it's just a lot of history right in there, and to be, I got a picture of me sitting behind the soundboard and thinking, man, and the couch was a famous couch, I think they actually sold that couch. It was just a piece of junk, but all the rock stars that had sat on that couch,
including yourself.
There's a friend of mine, Royce has seen him before, Video Bob. Video Bob worked for Vinny, and anytime Vinny had any garbage to get rid of, like he bought a new stove for his house, he told Video Bob, he goes, "Just get rid of my stove." So Video Bob, he always thinks about money, you know. So he takes this broken down old stove that Vinny had that was garbage, and sold it on eBay for a couple of $1,000s. You know,
That's funny.
Also, there was the sound guy for Pantera. He ended up going to prison. Okay, I'm not going to go in detail about that, but he's in prison right now, and all of his belongings were in his house, and of course the landlord had to get rid of this stuff. So Video Bob bought it all, and these are just Pantera cabinets, storage cabinets. Man, he sold one for like $10,000. It's just a storage cabinet,
Jesus.
So somebody has to deal with it, and Video Bob decided he can make some money off of it. There's no ties to Pantera anymore. It was actually the sound guy stuff, but it was the storage equipment cabinet for Pantera. Just the history of it.
Yeah, I kind of regret not seeing Pantera when they last came down to Australia when they released the last album together, Reinventing the Steel. Yeah, I wish I went to that. Now I kind of regret that now.
But yeah, you never know. That's why when I see a lot of these bands come through that I haven't seen before, I said I need to see that band because I may not see them again, especially since a lot of them they're aging now, and this.
It's the same with Dio.
Yeah,
like Dio played just up the road from my place 2 weeks when Alice Cooper played. I told my dad, like, dude, like we should go and see Dio and for him, and I think like tickets are too expensive. This and then months later, a year later,
I got to see Dio once, and the cool story behind that too. Ride for Dime. I had a heart attack and I was in the hospital, and the guy that used to run the Stevie Ray Vaughan Remembrance Ride contacted me and said, "Man, I met this guy. He says he can get Ronnie James Dio to play at your event." I go, "Really?" And I said, "Well, I can't do it. I'm in the hospital." So I told my vice president, I said, "Do some research, check into that, see if we can get Dio. That'd be great." So about 2 days later, I get a phone call, and he goes, "Man, I booked him. We got Dio booked." I go, "What?" I just couldn't believe it, And he said, "I already sent off the deposit, $2,500 deposit." I said, "Wait a minute, you sent $2,500 off?" I said, "I didn't tell you to touch the funds." And he goes, well, I had to do it then. We had to do it. Well, come to find out it was a scam. So I said, we got to get that money back. So we started a little detective trying to figure out who this guy was that stole our money. And next thing you know, we were contacted by Wendy Dio, Ronnie James Dio's ex-wife. And she goes, this guy is scamming everybody, And we had more information on this guy than anybody else. So we worked with Wendy Dio to try to find this guy, and we finally got the guy busted. Finally caught the guy. Never got our money back, but the guy was finally stopped. Wendy Dio was so happy about that. She sent us so much Ronnie James Dio stuff that was autographed that we could auction off at our event. And not only that, but she also sent us he was on, I forgot the name of that tour that year, with I think Judas Priest, Black Sabbath. I think he played with Black Sabbath that year. But she gave us back all access pass for the entire tour, not just Dallas, but for the entire tour. So that's when I got to meet Ronnie James Dio after that incident. Just that one time,
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
know,
wish
Bill.
I can go back time and see that concert now, but obviously I can't. So there you go. So hey, Royce, how you doing, dude? What's been happening?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you, Adam. I wanted to say to Bill in the chat that, I was in the chat before I came on, but now that I'm on, I can't be in the chat. There's no place. So anyway, but thanks for sending Dan and I a video. I'm looking forward to watching that. It's on motorcycles. Anyway, no, we're doing good. It just starting to get my work week going here. I got a bunch of construction jobs I'm bidding on and putting together, and getting my subcontractors to go look at them with me and things like that. And also going back and forth. I had a show last night, really a fun show. You popped in there for a little while, didn't you, Dan? It was on the iconic clubs on the Sunset Strip, the bands that played in them and the history of these different clubs. and it was a lot of fun. I had a co-host, Lou Mars. He's on Facebook, and you know Lou Mars? He's a drummer, and he won some contest drumming where he drummed for like 5 straight days plus hours continuous.
Yeah, it was 5 straight days.
Wow.
One of 5 people.
108.5 hours.
Yeah, 120. Yeah, exactly. And he was in a reality show, Drum Your Way to Hollywood, and he won that. And so he was a real interesting and fun guy to have on. And he had a lot of great stories. You know, he played at the Whiskey A Go-Go. He played at the Roxy. And right now he's doing this van life thing. He's down in San Diego with his van. And he was on the show. He was parked in front of a Starbucks using their internet, you know. And he kept saying, I'm going to have to move. I'm going to have to move, you know, all the way through the show. Yeah, living in his van at the moment. But he was a fun host to have on. And
that's pretty cool. Well,
that's great.
It was a fun time, and just studying about all these iconic clubs, you know. I mean, in fact, you know, I was reading them off and talking about them, and we went all the way back to like in the 40s, you know, where all of these, you know, the Rat Pack were hanging out in clubs, and Bugsy Siegel and Mickey Cohen and some other gangsters were hanging out in clubs, and they were just outside the LA city limits, you know, like in the county. So they were a little more protected, you know, from the law, and they all had, you know, illegal gambling going on in them and all kinds of stuff, you know. But back in the day, I mean, it was like a who's who of all the old actors and actresses from the 40s and 50s hanging out at some of these clubs. And then as time went on, you know, then you got into more, you know, 60s and stuff, where like at the Whiskey A Go-Go, the Doors were the house band playing 4 or 5 nights a week at the Whiskey before they finally got a recording contract. And it was just a great fun show, you know. All the bands played in some of these places. And there was one club was kind of a teenage club, Gasantes or something like that. And I mean, they had Guns N' Roses and I mean, all of these bands in there, Metallica, you know, and it was a teenage club, you know. And then we talked about the Viper Room where River Phoenix, you know, overdosed. And that was, Johnny Depp was one of the owners of that club. And it's still going, but it's never recaptured its.
Which club's this?
Pardon me?
Which club's that?
The Viper Room.
Isn't that? I'm just reading up on it now, and I see it posted up on Facebook. Isn't it getting demolished? Was it getting closed down?
That it was being demolished. There was some other club that just got demolished. That was big.
Yeah.
It might have been Pandora's Box or something like that. But there was so many clubs. I got so excited just studying this stuff that I told my wife, let's take off and go down there and do like a little travel vlog and travel around, look at all the clubs. And I'll never forget the time I was down there years ago, and I noticed there was a Guitar Center, you know. And every time I see a Guitar Center, my wife, it's just like me seeing a vinyl store. My wife's like, oh my God, you know.
I'm like the same thing. I'm the same as well when I go to guitar places.
Yeah. So I go into Guitar Center, right? It's a Guitar Center in Hollywood. And I told the story later. I likened it to like the first Star Wars, the bar scene. You know, you walked in and here was all these guys standing in front of this wall of guitars, and between the piercings and the hair, you couldn't even like tell what they were. You know?
Hey Royce, was that is that the Guitar Center on Sunset?
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
That's where we had the Dimebag induction right there.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we stay. You know, another thing too. Your guest last night, Lou, was talking about, you know, when you're on Sunset, you got to stay at the Grafton. Well, that's where I stayed. I stayed at the Grafton.
How do you spell that? I want to stay there.
Graften, I believe.
Okay.
I can almost. I've got pictures from. Now I don't have them on me, but I'll send you some pictures. I think it actually has the address on there.
Yeah, I'd like to. You know, and tell me about it. What was your experience like there?
Well, I didn't spend a whole lot of time there because we were basically all over Hollywood that day.
Oh, okay,
and,
cool.
Now I do have one bad memory. We're at the House of Blues, and we're doing the big Dimebag auction, and you know, having a party all night. And the guy that my vice president at the time loved to drink too much, too quick. Next thing you know, the show hasn't even really started yet, and he's so drunk that the Hells Angels have to take him back to the hotel. And I'm looking for him. I don't know where he's at. Then later on, the guys came up and they said, "Yeah, we had to take him back, man. He was just too drunk. He was getting into it with security."
Oh, shit.
Geez. I said, "Oh well, at least he's in bed, and I don't have to worry about him."
Right.
And, so we went ahead and we partied all night long. It's about 3 a.m, and there was 3 of us staying in a two-bed hotel room. And we already decided, since I'm the president and the founder, I get the nicest bed. One of you guys got to sleep on the floor. The other one gets the other bed. You guys fight it out. So that was all well and good. I get back to the hotel about 3 o'clock in the morning. My bed, the drunk guy is in my bed. He puked on the floor where somebody's supposed to be sleeping. The other guy's in the other bed, and I got no place to sleep. And I was ticked off.
Oh, no.
Nothing worse than walking into your hotel room and you smell coconut crab vomit.
Oh. Well, there is one thing worse.
Well, yeah.
I was driving home from Laughlin, Nevada, and my youngest daughter and her girlfriend that went with Betty and I were drinking Jägermeister all night,
Yeah.
And they threw up all the way from, Laughlin, Nevada to California. It was going down inside the door frame and everything. It was just horrible. I just look at a bottle of that now. I run in the opposite direction. But yeah, so we one of the stories I told was it was about the House of Blues, on Sunset.
Oh yeah.
And the House of Blues, I had pictures and stuff that I was showing, and there was like a water silo that stuck up off of one corner at the House of Blues. And the significance of that was back in, the 20s, when Robert Johnson, a famous bluesman from the 20s, he was going around playing at the clubs and the bars. And he was just kind of it wasn't anything overly spectacular at the time. He was just an average blues guy that, made a few bucks playing in bars. And all of a sudden, Robert Johnson just seemed to have vanished off the face of the earth. Nobody saw him for a few years. And when he came back, he had just ungodly guitar skills. And so the story developed that he went down to the crossroads and sold his soul to the devil for guitar skills. And right next to those crossroads were some little metal structures of some kind. And this silo that was built at the House of Blues, which was the first House of Blues built, west of the Mississippi, was made from that metal that was next to the crossroads. And so that was the significance of that silo that stuck up in the air on the House of Blues. But anyway, so that was kind of a fun story, and so was the comedy club. You talk about a who's who. There must have been. I had a list of over 100 names, and I was just reading a couple off each page of the people that have played there. I mean, Chevy Chase, Jay Leno. I mean, anybody you could possibly think of. As far as a comedian, they all did the comedy club on Sunset. That was kind of a fun story. And all of them were fun stories. I mean, the Rainbow Club, when it was owned by Slim Jim Phantom, had house bands that played there. And I had a picture of Eric Singer playing drums, at the Rainbow Club. I had a picture of Ryan Roxy, Alice's one of Alice's guitar players, playing guitar on the stage. And pictures of Slim Jim Phantom, of course, from the Stray Cats, who owned the club. And so that was a pretty happening place. A lot of people would come in and just sit in with the band that were, could be somebody from Guns N' Roses or stuff. They just want to come in and just hang out and play with the guys, So I mean,
the rainbow to me kind of sounds like Frankie's Pizza in Sydney, Australia. When Frankie's Pizza is it's like one of the nightclubs that's open from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah,
7 days a week, and there's always stuff going on. And they used to do karaoke nights on Tuesdays, but they switched it to Wednesdays, and it's a live band doing the karaoke songs, and they just get people to come up and sing along with them and sing along to the band. And it's fucking great. Yeah. There's been so many good acts down there too, and it's free entry.
That's the only way I'd like to sing, with a whole bunch of people around me singing.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a while because since COVID happened, it just kind of just pushes everything away for me. But I've seen so many cool bands there, like LA Guns, Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
just I met Phil Lewis just walking in the crowd and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Super nice.
LA Guns. I mean, that's a pretty interesting story between Guns N' Roses and LA Guns and how they were
Yeah.
both one band and then separated and things like that. In fact, I met one of the guys that was the original founder of LA Guns, Paul Mars Black. Paul Mars Black, are you familiar with that? But he kind of left before they made it big, and he really regrets that. I think they played at winery. I saw him a couple of times here in Paso Robles. Him and Joe Almeida. And Joe Almeida's, and they're great. They come and just both play acoustic guitars and sing, and they're both fantastic. And Joe Almeida, he actually did 2 paintings for me. And since we just did a bunch of work in our house, they're not hanging. I'll grab them. They're right behind me.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Almeida is quite an artist. He did. He was Jimmy Page playing the double neck. And I'll say
that is badass. I like that.
Oh, that's good.
These aren't prints. These are originals.
Oh, wow.
I saw this. He had a full display of his art out when he was playing at the winery. And I saw that and I was just, oh my God, Jimmy Page playing the double neck. I almost had a heart attack. And my family bought it for me and surprised me on my birthday with it, And
that's great.
So later on, I thought, well, you know what? My 2 faves, of course, Page and Hendrix. I have to have a Hendrix. So I contacted him. I said, hey, man, if you got, I'd like to have a Jimi Hendrix painted. And he said, well, I've got some. Let me send you pictures of them. He sent me pictures of them. They were all great. Don't get me wrong. But what I had in mind was Hendrix with the white leather fringed jacket on playing at Woodstock. I mean, nothing but that would do for me, right? So I went online and I printed some pictures off and I sent them to him. And let me grab it. It's over here. I got to put these back up in my entry hall.
That's a pretty badass print.
That is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Since all my ceilings were refinished, and all I got left to do is hang these 2 pictures and slide my pool table back out to the center of the formal living room. Well, my wife loves it. But anyway, so he made me this. He did this Hendrix for me. And
Is
like
that the original print as well?
These aren't prints. These are the original deals here, which is kind of unusual.
That's brilliant.
Artwork world, and very, very insanely reasonable for being originals. But so I sent him a picture similar to this, and then he made this for me. And you can see the reverse headstock, the typical Hendrix with the bigger headstock too, which was old 60s kind of vintage, and the guitar being played upside down and stuff like that. And they sell Fender makes some Hendrix guitars, and they have one that's made in Mexico, but it's supposed to be a real, really a good guitar. This like $10.99, and then they have one that they sell for like over $4,000, which is a Hendrix guitar.
Yeah.
But, I think if I was ever going to get one, it'd be the $10.99. I don't know how much difference there could be. I'm gonna put this away.
Do you reckon if he's still alive today? You reckon he'd be still doing music?
Well, he'd be like 80-something years old.
Yeah, that's right.
You reckon? You reckon he'd be still releasing music? Maybe 20 years ago, if he was still around.
I think so. I don't think he would ever. I mean, I've read stories about him where he'd be living in an apartment with a whole bunch of other people, and there'd be people coming in and partying, and he'd just be walking through the house unplugged, just playing his guitar through the whole party. It's like, I mean, he almost never put it down. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he'll be. I think he would have kind of gone through a lot of different phases. Some that maybe if you were a Hendrix fanatic you really liked, and some that you were like, what the hell's he doing? Get back to the stuff we like. I mean, because he tend to kind of experiment a lot, and he's one of my he probably is my number one favorite guitar player, Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, mine too.
I did a top 10 guitarist show. It was a takeoff of Rolling Stone magazine's top 100. I went through the top 10 or 12 that night, and then one night I had a show that ended real soon. We didn't have a lot to talk about. So I grabbed that magazine that had the top 100 and went all the way through about 60 or 70.
I think I know which magazine you're on about because I think a friend of mine gave me that one as well. Yeah, I've got it somewhere. It might be in my living room or something like that.
My painting contractor, I want to know if he does wallpaper. I got a call yesterday from the Spring Suites Hotel by Home Depot, and 3 of their rooms got flooded and they need them rebuilt. And so it really didn't they weren't that bad. Serv Pro came in, dried them out, tore all the plumbing out of the bathrooms and stuff. But anyway, so we'd like to. Hey, Mike Usenick, who's that?
Hi, Mike.
Yeah, I think Mike was the old host.
Yeah.
And Mike, you still owe me money from those royalties from Spotify, buddy. I'm still waiting.
Well, I want to say the show's really improved.
It has.
Hey, Royce, I've got a picture of the Grafton Hotel here. Let me see if I can share this.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Let's see.
Incidentally, this is not food on my upper lip. I was working in the yard yesterday, cutting stuff, branches and stuff. And
I think whoever's controlling this has to approve that. Can you see it backstage?
Adam?
You have to bring it into the show.
I have a look, yeah.
I can bring it up here, but it's up to the administrator to bring it in.
I can't see it.
Hold on, let me see.
Okay.
Try again.
I see it backstage.
Yeah. You got it to share screen. So yeah. So
there it is.
That's the one.
Oh,
yeah, that's the Grafton. That's my limo out in front too. That black limo.
Is that right?
Yeah. We did it up. When we went out there, we did it all up, man.
All right, that's great, man.
And the rooms are pretty cool too. They have this artwork of cleavage. That's all. Modern artwork, and there's huge pictures on the room of cleavage. So
that's funny. Now I really want to stay there.
So, talking about the rainbow earlier, have you what crazy stories have you got from there going there?
Well,
there would have been some really crazy stories from the rainbow.
The rainbow is a little mellower now than it was back in the day because, well, first of all, some of the old school stories are like Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio had their very first date there. It was that kind of a place where the Hollywood elite would go in and stuff like that. But eventually, the Hollywood vampires wound up having their private clubhouse on the 2nd floor, and they were the only ones allowed to go up there. Alice Cooper was the president.
Yeah.
And all these people. I mean, from the Who, it was like the drummer from the Who was in it. When John Lennon was broke, Keith Moon. When John Lennon was broke up with Yoko Ono, he was showing up all the time. And the reason they call them the Hollywood vampires because they really never saw daylight.
No.
Yeah.
And
I was up there at the park. It was a drinking club.
Didn't Alice Cooper pour beer down Bruce Springsteen's boots?
He did. I was just thinking about that. He did, yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do? Rainbow or something?
Yeah.
He just kept pouring it in his boot.
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen went to the rainbow or something, and then Alice poured beer down his boots.
Yeah.
There was somebody else, I think, as well doing it. It sat each side of Bruce Springsteen and pouring drink in his boots.
I know Lemmy used to hang out there a lot, but did you ever hang out or catch up with him or ran into him or anything there?
Oh no, not myself. We went down to Sunset or Hollywood a couple of years ago. There was like a rock musical playing. I can't remember if it was Let There Be Rock. There were 2 of them going around. I'd seen them both already, but Rock of Ages. Rock of Ages was the one we went to see, and it was really fun. I really enjoy stuff like that. I saw one of them in Vegas too at one of the casinos once. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. And afterwards, we went over to the Rainbow, and it was the first time I'd actually been in there. And it's not the crazy place it used to be, but all that memorabilia is up on the walls and pictures and stuff. It's
more of a restaurant now, isn't it?
Yeah, more of a restaurant, but it's still a fun place to visit because of all the history there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing they'll still have Lemmy's seat there, maybe, where he used to come in and just play his pokies or whatever it is at the Rainbow.
Yeah, I don't.
He had his own spot.
I saw several pictures of him when I was looking at the Cat Club, Slim Jim Phantoms, of him playing on stage at the Cat Club.
Yeah.
So he made the rounds down there quite a bit. It was what a time it would have been. I mean, I was, probably during some of its heyday, I was living in North Long Beach. I just moved there from Henderson, Nevada. And I remember going into LA and I looking around and saying, who the hell would want to live here? And I don't think I ever went back,
Yeah. I know a chick from the States that's been to the Rainbow, and she's a chef as well, because I'm a chef as well. And she was saying the food at the Rainbow is pretty average.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I've never been to the States before, but
no, I haven't.
You haven't? So
I would love to go.
Right, you're in Australia.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I would love to go to the States because I have friends there, and then at least if I could go there, I could stay there and stuff like that. But
come see me in California. We'll put you up.
Yeah, for sure. You
I'm hoping to get to the States this year.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I'm hoping to get to the States this year for the first time.
Are you in Australia as well?
No, I'm in Germany, but I'm from the UK originally.
Okay. Yeah.
We're worldwide here.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Germany, but I had a really good friend that was from Stuttgart, and we worked as carpenters together, and we kept in touch for a little while. He married an American exchange student and moved over here, named Shelley, and my oldest daughter and his sons were close in age and stuff, and they attended one of her birthday parties, and they're all 2 years old or 3 years old. And anyway, he moved back. He wanted his sons to experience not just English culture, but German culture. But when they got back there, they never came back. But I mean, that was way before the Berlin Wall fell and everything. This was in the 70s. But I've been to Australia as well. Betty and I went. It was right after 9/11. In fact, we were going to go to let's see, some other places that we didn't go to because it was right after 9/11. And they had big Muslim populations. We were a little nervous about that. It wasn't long after that a club that surfers hung out in got a bomb went off in it. And I was going to surf while I was there. It was Bali, Indonesia. Yeah. Anyway, so we canceled that part of the trip and just went straight to Australia. And let's see. We stayed basically on the Gold and Sunshine Coast.
Down at the Gold Coast.
Yeah, Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast. We drove up and down through there, and I went surfing at Noosa Heads. We absolutely love Noosa Heads. I could totally live there.
Byron Bay is the perfect place to go surfing too.
Yeah, no, we went
down that way.
Yeah, we went there too. It was a real bohemian kind of a place. I mean, you're walking down the sidewalk and the pot smoke is wafting out of all the windows.
Yeah, pretty much. You see a lot of young surfers in a little convy vans.
Yeah, and they said keep your eye on your surfboard too there.
Yeah, so
a lot of
I don't surf.
Rastafarian type people and things like that, and I thought it was a really cool place. But I didn't go surfing there because it was kind of blown out. The wind was blown out. But I did get to go surfing at Noosa Heads, and I'd wake up early in the morning from our they call them apartments. People own them and rent them out, and I'd wake up early and I'd try to be the first one on the water at Noosa Heads. And the guy that beat me every single day, and I don't, he must have had some kind of device in my room watching for me to wake up. But how early I got there, it's still dark. He's sitting in the water. What took you so long? His 71-year-old military, ex-military, lifelong. And he was everybody called him the Colonel, and he was just a great guy. And we'd sit there and talk until it was light enough to see on our surfboards, And, one day I was there and there was a lot of people in the water, and there were 3 kind of husky guys from New Zealand. He goes, "Hey, Royce, you see those blokes over there?" I go, "Yeah, I see them." And he goes, "Any wave you want. I don't care if they're already on it. Just take off. It's yours." He was always fucking with those guys. But he was a great guy. It was a fun time. I mean, the Australian people, I'm telling you, some of the nicest people I ever met. And they seem to love Americans. Like I said, it was right after 9/11. And every time somebody realized, "Hey, you're American, aren't you?" They'd all say like, "Let's go get them. We're with you, brother. Let's go blow them all up." And I was like, "Hey, man, I like you guys."
Yeah.
I like the way you think, you know?
Yeah.
But we went, let's see, we went to all these different places. You know, we went down to Surfers Paradise, I think it was called. And we went down to where the meter maids were all wearing, you know, gold bikinis, and they'd put money in the meter for you so you didn't get a ticket, you know. And we just went up and down the coast, just driving around, having fun. But I tell you what a shock. We got on the, I pulled out of the airport onto the freeway, and everything was backwards. And my wife was about to have a heart attack. I mean, we're like, "Oh my God," you know, and every time I went to step off the sidewalk to cross the street, she'd grab me and yank me back because I'm looking the wrong way for oncoming traffic, you know. But it was fun. I loved Australia. I've always said since we went there that that's a place out of the country I could live and enjoy living there.
Yeah, a lot of people have said that too.
Yeah. But
I
rented a couple of really crappy surfboards, and finally I went to this surf shop in Noosa Heads, and a young guy comes up and greets me, and he's a salesman there, and he goes, "Hey, I'm Josh Constable," you know, and he was kind of said it like I'm supposed to know who he is, you know. I go, "Oh, hey, Roy Denny, glad to meet you." He goes, "Well, what's your surfing like?" I said, "Well, I started in my 40s. I'm not great, but I love surfing." And he goes, "Okay, I got just the board for you." He pulls his board out of the rack and he goes, "Here, this is the one you want." I go, "What's wrong with this one and that one?" No. This is the one you want. So I bought it. You know, it's like $1,100 Australian, you know, which was, I think, like $600 American at the time, which was, you know, a normal price. Bought a bag and a leash and all this stuff. And so I was out there surfing Noosa Heads with it, just having a ball. Well, I didn't realize it, but this kid, Josh Constable, that told me this was the right board, was number 2 in Australia for longboarding. And like 2 years later, he was number 1 in the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Do you surf, Adam?
No, I would like to.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the recent shark attack that happened in Sydney like 2 weeks ago or something like that, it kind of freaked me out a bit. I don't know if you heard about it, but like,
well, no, I didn't hear. I don't think I heard about that one, but we had the same thing happen right here. My granddaughter Alexis and her boyfriend were coming down for Christmas, and Lexi said, "Hey, Papa, Brad's never surfed before. He wants you to take him surfing." And I said, "Oh, great! I've got 4 or 5 surfboards, a bunch of wetsuits, maybe an old one will fit him." And so we're all set to go surfing at the pit right next to the rock in Morro Bay. And then we had a big rain, and when you get a big rain, you get all this runoff out of the storm drains and everything, and all these toxins and stuff. And you're not supposed to go out for several days after a big rain because you got really a lot of nasty stuff in the water, and the water's murky. And so I said, "Well, we're not going to go today because we just had a big rain, and you get these like flu-like conditions, eyes, nose, and ears, just from all the shit in the water. You got to let it clear up a little bit." And the very day that we were supposed to go, at the very place, the pit we were supposed to go, a great white shark killed a boogie boarder.
Yeah.
And that just kind of freaked me out a little bit too, to be perfectly honest with you. Yeah. I mean, I've had some situations out there where like, I just got back from Australia with my new Australian board, and I went out at the rock, and it was like twice as big as I normally surf. I mean, it was big, heavy waves coming in from deep water. And I went out and instantly ate it. My leash snapped. I was held down for so long. It was like being in the black in a washing machine, spinning and twirling. And it's like, am I ever going to come up? I have no air left. Anytime you want to show me some light, it's really easy to start panicking in those conditions. Then you're really going to lose your air. You got to just kind of relax. And I finally started to see some light, and I'm like, thank God, I couldn't have held my breath for another 2 seconds. And all of a sudden, all I did was get sucked over the falls of the next big wave and back down into the dark, and never even got to take a breath of air. And it really tested how long I could hold my breath, because I was down there for a long time. And I got up, and here comes the next big wave, and I take a couple of gasps of air and start trying to swim to get beneath the turbulence. Of course, the turbulence caught me again on every wave. And when I finally came up, my board had deletion snap. The board was gone, and I was completely exhausted. I felt like I couldn't even swim. I was so exhausted. And I finally made my way over to the rock and started clawing my way up. And the surge from every wave would like shove me up the rocks, and I'd like be dragging my fingernails on the mossy rocks as the water poured into my wetsuit and took me down like the Pillsbury Doughboy again. And this happened 3 or 4 times until I was finally able to hang on and get on a trail and walked in. And I still think about that incident, you know. So, I mean, I haven't been surfing now in about 2 years. I surfed for years after that happened, because this was a long time ago, right after 9/11. But I'd gone down to San Clemente, down kind of near San Diego, and bought a brand new board at the Stewart Surfboard Shop, just a great board. And I started getting back into it again, and I was excited. And then before I knew it, 2 years had gone by, and I hadn't been out again. So I keep threatening to go back. But I'm going to stay away from the real big stuff. I'm happy anything from like knee to maybe 1 to 2 feet overhead, but I don't need like double or triple overhead anymore. I don't know what happened, but I'm not going to touch anything else.
I don't know what happened either. Just
tough as well.
But
yeah, I did.
Dan, you okay? Go ahead. You were bodyboarding, yeah, body surfing.
Yeah, you know, I had never done it before, and on the North Shore, you get some pretty good waves out there.
Oh yeah.
And what I did, I had one of these blow up rafts, the body rafts that you lay on.
Yeah.
I just blow it up and I fold it in half and hug it, and I'd swim out there. Here comes a big wave. You turn around and it just pick you up and just throw you up onto the beach. Did that a few times, and it's a lot of fun. But the beach is, like you said, it's just, you know, it's kind of curved up. So when the water goes back into the ocean, it drags you back into the ocean.
Oh yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with my hands, you know, just, and you can see this claw marks down the beach. It sucks right back. The next wave would hit you. Well, the last time I was out there, I see a bit, and it's a huge wave, and I go, "Oh shit!" And I can't get turned around. I can't get turned around where I'm facing the beach, and that wave just collapsed on top of me. Same thing. You're just tumbling. You don't know where you're at.
Yeah, no, you don't know where you're at.
And in my case, it's a big sandy beach, so there's a lot of sand all involved too.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I'm up on the beach. The water's gone, and I'm gasping for breath. And I noticed when that water was churning, I was wearing blue jean cutoffs. All my pockets were just full of sand, you know, and the sand was just embedded to my scalp. I was getting sand out of my scalp for like 3 days. But I've never
turned up.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Here's this Captain Pink Sock guy.
So now we know.
How you doing, Mike?
Now we know
the old host.
Now we know why the show was interrupted a minute ago.
Yeah.
No, what happened was, I guess I went to go into the studio. StreamYard's actually having a connection issue right now. So I want to apologize to any of our listeners and anyone that's listening after the broadcast. If there's a delay in sound and stuff, that is why. StreamYard wouldn't even
I'm
let
from
me
the
in the
future.
studio.
I'm taking everything with me.
I thought I was having bad internet, but I guess that's StreamYard's actually having issues right now.
Yeah, I thought it was my internet.
There goes the neighborhood.
I tried joining the studio and it all got screwed up. But you guys are doing an amazing job. Thanks for having me. This is now Adam's show.
It is. I'm taking over the internet. You know, it's only 5:30 in the morning here, but it's all good.
As for royalties for Spotify, unfortunately, I don't even get money for that. So,
well, Well, guess what? You need to get on that because I want to get a better microphone.
What's this, Dan?
Oh,
I was
I was going to cue this up. This was when I was out in Hollywood when we inducted Dimebag into the Rock Walk, and that was my pass right there. And
that's cool.
There's the guitar. That's the Guitar
wow.
Center on Sunset.
Right.
Damn.
Right.
Got a pretty good crowd out there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
And,
I need to Photoshop myself in that line.
There we
Yeah.
Oh, there I am.
Yeah. I think that's me in the suit.
This was a poster that was outside that's advertising Dimebag's Crybaby Wah Wah pedal.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's badass.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That's me and Leatherface.
Ah, yeah. Mike, who knows Leatherface? Can you get him on the podcast?
I mean, we can get anybody we want on here. Whether or not they say yes or no is the different
Yeah,
story.
because I just want to say to him, like, you did really good at Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2003. And I was
Then we got
giving him a virtual hug.
Dean Zielinski, the founder of Dean Guitars.
I thought that was
Yeah.
Howard Stern.
Oh, okay.
Which
Maybe,
is
maybe
right after,
20 years ago.
right after this, Dean Guitars actually booted Dean out of the company.
Oh shit!
Oh,
Why?
that
Yeah. So they still have his name, but he's not a part of it anymore.
So yeah, with the whole Dime thing and Dean.
Oh yeah. Rita
Yeah.
Sue and Dean.
Yeah, I've heard about that one. Yeah.
Who's that guy?
That's Kerry King, Slayer.
I know who it is.
Who's the guy in the right?
That's me.
Oh, really?
That's me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was 13
I
years.
recognised you there.
This was,
I
I
thought
think,
that was
13
like
years
Kerry
ago.
King's twin, but with hair.
No, this is, I think this was 15 years. 2007 when this
Yeah.
was taken.
You guys look alike there.
You know what's really weird? Here in the next like 20 years, Slayer is going to be considered oldies.
A dad metal band.
There's Dime's guitar. That's his famous Dean from Hell.
Yeah.
That's
With
a
the
sexy
sticker
guitar.
on there.
I've actually got to strap that on once.
Wow. It's amazing.
Is that the first time you've said that, Dan? Or
Just remember, I'm talking about a guitar. There we are having some dinner. We're at Santa Monica Pier.
Santa Monica Pier, yeah. That's a fun place.
There we're up in Hollywood Hills.
Right.
And that's it.
Right.
I got more
cool,
pictures,
man.
but that's all I got.
Oh, that's brilliant.
okay, I'll remove that. That was awesome. Isn't it
Yeah.
Alice Cooper that owns one of the O's in the Hollywood sign?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is.
Yeah. They sold the old Hollywood sign
Mhm.
and put a new one up, and people bought letters that related to their names and different things, you know.
Can I buy a vowel?
You know, that was a hell of a hike up to get that shot of the Hollywood sign. That was a hell of a walk because you can't just drive up to the sign.
No.
Right.
You know, we had a park, and I think there was actually horseback rides going up that hill as well.
Okay.
Is the sign even in Los Angeles? I heard that it isn't. The sign itself.
I have no idea.
How did
Well,
put
you know,
traffic
Los Angeles
on
makes,
Laredo?
you know, you sometimes people confuse the city and the county. You know, there's so many cities within the county of Los Angeles that,
Mhm.
you know, it's for sure in the county.
Yeah. I just heard that it's not in like the city or whatever, that it's that Hollywood's in or whatever.
Yeah, you might be right.
It's wild. Is that a Woodstock shirt or Moonstock?
Moonstock.
Oh, badass. Nice.
That was August 20th, I believe it was, 2017.
Was that when Ozzy sung during the eclipse?
Yes.
That was badass.
Yeah. Vinny, actually, I knew a couple of bands that played up there too. Texas Hippie Coalition and Hell Yeah also played up there with Ozzy. And I wasn't there during the Ozzy thing. I was there the day before because I knew Texas Hippie Coalition. I knew Hell Yeah, they were playing there. The very next day during the eclipse, I was about 50 miles downrange from the concert. I already had my spot picked out for the eclipse. And but I thought that was so cool of Ozzy to have it timed just perfect. Right when they told the eclipse happened, he's singing Bark at the Moon.
You know what's awesome about that
Great.
performance? Right after he was done performing, Ozzy was like, Wasn't that fucking cool? Even he was amazed.
Ozzy blocked out the sun.
But well, Dan, you made a video of the eclipse. Is that the same one?
Yeah, same eclipse, 2017. So when I was recording my eclipse, Ozzy was singing "Bark at the Moon" right down the road from me. But I also got that in 360 degree too. The eclipse.
Is that on your channel?
Yes, and I found the perfect spot too. It's kind of ironic, that I would find a spot that's in a cemetery, and about several months and months in advance time, I was scouring Google Maps trying to find the perfect spot on the center line of the eclipse. Well, there's two spots in the eclipse, and the entire stretch of the United States. There's two spots you want to be at. That's the longest duration, and what's the other one? I think it's the darkest, and they're pretty close to each other. And they're both in southern Illinois. I thought, well, I can't be at two places at one time. Ozzy was at one spot, so I went in between the two spots, and it happened to be right in the 19th century church cemetery, in the middle of the Shawnee National Forest. So we go down there, and I thought, man, I got the ideal spot. So we went there after we went to the Moonstock, went down to our spot to check it out, and it was deserted. Nobody's there, and I go, this is perfect for us. Go the next day, there's like 50 people there. I went, son of a bitch.
You're not the only one with that idea.
Yeah. When you think you got the only one, the idea, someone else has it too.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was kind of cool being in a cemetery during a total solar eclipse. And I actually got a video too. Before we went down there, I went to find a grave, and I found that cemetery, and I got a list of all the people that are buried there. And I started doing background checks on all these people to find a little bit about their life. And I did a video about that, who I was sharing the total solar eclipse with, all these dead people. And I kind of got to know these people, just from their history. So that's kind of, and then I get there in person. I go, yeah, I know about her. She was killed in a car wreck. I knew some of these people just, from my history of studying that cemetery.
So when you say all your friends are dead, you just met them that way.
Yeah.
The easy way to do it.
Yeah, they never argue with you.
No, they didn't even mind me stepping on them.
Depending on what you're into, some people don't. What were you gonna say, Royce?
Oh no, Dan got away with stepping on him too.
We try to be a little respectful, Dan
gets away with everything.
Because he's Dan. He's Dan the man. He can do it.
Yeah, Dan the man.
Knows Leatherface. Like, come on.
He's the guy that goes to cemeteries and knows everyone that lives there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've been to a few. I've actually got a video on my YouTube channel where I went to this cemetery here in Dallas. And the mausoleum. There's a lot of famous people there, that I never realized. I mean, I saw Mickey Mantle, Ross Perot, Greer Garson,
wow.
Judge Sarah T. Hughes, the one that swore in LBJ after the Kennedy assassination, the sheriff of Dallas during the Kennedy assassination. There's a whole bunch of people there, Tom Landry. I mean, all at one stop.
You're the only person I know that can go to a cemetery and make it sound like you went to a really cool club.
Yeah.
You're like, I went to this graveyard. And all these people were there.
Well, people spend so much money on funerals and the headstones and all that. They've got to be enjoyed. You just don't want.
Yeah, kind of like John Lennon's memorial. That thing's set up. It has like the peace sign and everything.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to enjoy it. Like it's not just there for him to enjoy. We got to enjoy it.
That's like with Dimebag and Vinny, where they're buried. Moore Memorial Gardens. It started off. It was just his mother was buried there. Okay, and it had a big Abbott family plot headstone. Then you got Carolyn over here. Then when they put Dimebag in, it's a huge gold plaque with a picture of him and some sayings on there. But then people started vandalizing it, just like they do Jim Morrison's gravesite. People started etching things on the top of his marker. Well, then Vinny was buried there, and they started doing the same thing. So now there's an iron fence totally around their family plot. You can't get to the gravesite anymore, which I think is good. You know,
Like, why do people even do that? Like, I understand like G.G. Allen people do that because he'd want them to, but like, why would people do that with like people like Dimebag? Like,
they'd sit there and they destroy his marker, you know, and it costs money to go out there and clean it up, you know, and make it look nice again or buff it out, you know, and you know, and people, I wonder how much booze is in that ground too. There was always, I mean, everybody dumped booze on that gravesite, you know.
And as much as Dimebag drank to begin with.
Yeah. You know, plus, you know, he was buried with about 15 bottles of Crown Royal. In his casket. He's got a bunch of Crown, you know.
Damn.
Dan, if I remember correctly, I watched a video, I don't know, last year where you went to his grave site, you know, on the anniversary of his death.
Yeah.
And you were filming, people were showing up and stuff. And
that was Dime's birthday.
That was his birthday. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that used to be a big thing every year, either on his birthday or the day he died. There's always a big gathering out there at the cemetery.
Okay.
But this past year on his birthday, there was nobody there. Just a handful of people showed up. But usually it was packed. So I don't know, because it's pretty hot that day. And, you know, in the wintertime, when on the day he died, it's usually cold out. So, you know. But,
when was this?
I did the live shot just last August.
Because I was going to say it could have a lot to do with the pandemic, too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah.
Could have a lot to do with it because there's a lot of people that don't even want to go out right now.
But how disrespectful to go to somebody's gravesite and start damaging their headstone or whatever is there. You know? That's ridiculous.
Well, I know they got it all cleaned up and they've got the black wrought iron fence around it now. You can't get in; it's locked.
Yeah.
And if you try to climb it, you get the pointy things that you don't want to land on. So
no. Yeah.
Did you ever see that video Ozzy did? It's not to do with Dimebag, but it has to do with a gravesite. Ozzy did a music video. It was a cover of Howl. And through the music video, it's him walking through London. He walked down Abbey Road. He did all this stuff like Beatles. And at the very end, he drops the rose on the Imagine Memorial. And it's it gave me goosebumps because he walked on all the historical Beatles places. And then at the very end, he had that huge John Lennon memorial that he laid the rose at. It was cool.
Wow.
If you haven't seen it yet, watch it.
You know, I was in New York City. That's in Central Park, right?
Yeah, the Imagine was, but he actually did shots in London and shit. Like, did all the historical things and then did that. Yeah,
I was in New York City back in 2003, and I never went to Central Park, so I never got to see the Imagine.
Yeah, Ozzy did. I don't know if he went to London or not. I could be mistaken. He could have just been walking through New York, but he did all the historical shit, like reenacted everything, and then laid the rose right in Central Park. It was a really cool memorial.
Yeah, when I was in New York City, 9/11 had happened just about a year and a half before, and you know, we went to the ground zero, and at the time they were still. The surrounding area was cleared up, but the hole was still there. They were just still taking stuff out of the hole. They hadn't started any construction yet.
You know, Betty and I were in New York about 15 years ago, and well, my mother and her whole family was from New York. In fact, my mother's the only one that wasn't born in Italy. She was born here, but there was 9 kids, and the other 8 were all born in Italy. And she told some fun stories about that. But so we went back there, and I lived there until I was around 2 or 2.5 years old. You know. So we went back there, and I went back. The reason I went back there was I was working for this low-income housing provider, and I was building great big apartment buildings, low-income housing. And the boss said, "Hey, Royce, my daughter Andrea." Now, Andrea had a degree in photojournalism and went to work for MTV in New York, and she was interviewing all the rappers and stuff like that. And she goes, "Andrea's getting a house in Harlem. You know, there's all these streets in Harlem as it works its way towards, you know, the rest of the city. That are the streets, they're just kind of like burned out, abandoned buildings, you know, and there's not anything left inside of them." She goes, "I'm going to pay your way. I want you to come and look at it and tell me what you think." You know, it's like a 3-story brownstone building. I'm like, "Sure, anytime." Anything in Jamaica we need to go look at? So anyway, we go back there, and was a lot of events taking place and stuff like that. We looked at the brownstone, and she wound up getting it too. She wound up getting it, and it was big enough that there was a rental in it and everything. And she got it for like $300,000, which was for a brownstone in New York City. Was like these streets were all being reclaimed kind of one at a time, working their way through Harlem. And so I don't know how it happened, some mix up or something, but I wound up in a traveling on the subway at night through Harlem by myself.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden there's a stop. And
You're alive?
I'm telling you, barely. These two guys get on, they sit right across from me and they're staring at me. And they kept like making these motions like they were going to jump out of their chairs and attack me. And I'm like, what the fuck? They wanted to see if I was going to, try to cover up or something. And they kept doing this, and they're looking at me and they're being real with cocky looks on their face and act like they want to rip my head off and kill me. And so there had just been a shooting on a subway. Some guy shot some guys and killed them on a subway. And so I remembered that thought went through my head, and it was cold outside, of course. And I put my hand in my jacket pocket and, made my finger look like a gun. And I shoved it forward, just sat back and smiled at them. They got these funny looks on their faces, and started looking at each other. And when the doors opened up, they got out and took off,
I was going to say that's exactly what I would have done too. When they jump forward, you put your hand in your jacket. Hey,
yeah. But it was kind of freaking me out because that would have been a hell of a battle, and I probably would have wound up on the losing end of it.
What's the name of that guy that is called a subway shooter?
Yeah. I can't remember.
Bernie Getz or
Goats or something. That's the guy I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He shot somebody. So I thought, this was fresh in everybody's minds because it just made me think about, trying to bluff these guys.
Did you guys see the list of the celebrities that were supposed to be on either the flight on September 11th or were supposed to be in one of the towers? It's a crazy list.
Really?
Michael Jackson was supposed to have a meeting in the Twin Towers that evening and it got canceled.
Wow.
On the top floor. Seth MacFarlane was supposed to be on the flight. It got canceled because he went to Canada instead. Same with Mark Wahlberg. They were both going to a Canadian festival that was announced last minute. So they decided to go there instead and then went to Los Angeles. They were supposed to go from New York to Los Angeles on the flight that hit the towers. And that's nuts to think about what would have happened in 2001 if we would have lost Mark Wahlberg, Seth MacFarlane, and Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, I've never seen a show with Mark Wahlberg that I didn't like,
Right.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have ended up with those because those were all after.
In the credits, I know it's going to be a good show, and it always is.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird how fate works sometimes,
Right.
Like back in just a couple of months ago, I went to a club probably about 15 miles from here. And I got out of there. It was probably about 2:30 in the morning. Well, I left about 2:20. I'm coming down the highway, made it home, no problem. Next morning, I see that there's a terrible accident on the highway I was just on. It happened, must have been moments after I passed through that area. And it killed like 4 people. And I went, oh my God, I was just there. But at the same time, if I would have been a few minutes slower, it could have been me.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? I have those thoughts all the time.
Well, Mark Wahlberg said that that whole fact that he was supposed to be on that plane haunts him to this day.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I was supposed to be on that plane.
Right.
With his buddy Seth MacFarlane, because him and Seth have been friends for years. And they're supposed to take the same flight.
It's like me and 2 of my friends rode our Harley Davidsons to a Toys for Tot run, where you take a toy and sit down and have a tri-tip barbecue, maybe drink a beer if you want. I wasn't much on drinking when I was riding, but I probably had one while I was there, maybe even 2. We were there for hours. But anyway, so on the way back, Ron looks at me and he goes, let's blow Dave's doors off. Dave took off first, and we took off after him. And I was going through the gears, trying to go as fast as I can, and I wasn't going to catch him, And I looked, I didn't see Ron, and all of a sudden Ron passes me on the inside like I'm standing still. He goes up, he goes around Dave and crests the top of the hill. And I get to the top of the hill, I couldn't even see. I could have ran into anything because Ron had got off the road. The road took a sharp turn to the left, and Ron was passing Dave and kind of leaning right. And he wound up getting off the road, fought his way back on the road, laid the bike down. It hit a piece of asphalt curb and busted it loose. And the bike popped back up on the road and went for, a couple of 100 feet just sliding on the asphalt. And we got to the top, and finally, the dust cleared a little bit, and Dave and I were just kind of freaked out. And we couldn't even find Ron. I mean, it was like a bank went down to a barbed wire fence, and tall grass was growing and stuff like that. Damn. And finally someone else said, "Oh, he's over here," And 3 or 4 days later, he died in the hospital. They turned off the life support. But
oh man,
I get haunted by that stuff a little bit. I have pictures of my tool trailer outside that I pull around at the job. Sometimes I've got a picture of him in there and stuff like that. And he was a really good guy, lifelong Harley Davidson rider, really good on his bike, a little bit wild on his bike, but he had a heart of gold. Kind of crazy, but a heart of gold. And there was a lot of stories about Ron from the old days, but he was a good guy, and we really miss him. He's fun to hang out with. He was he took over a big grading operation. His boss retired. He wound up with all the tractors. And so when I'm building something, he'd do all my grading, all my underground pipes, stuff like that, And he was a real good operator too. But anyway, that's like I said, that kind of haunts me, when I think about it. How, I mean, we all could have wound up in that position. We got to the top of the hill, couldn't see because of all the dust and stuff like that. And anyway, that's my little story.
Do you still have a Harley?
No, I don't have one right now.
Okay.
I had 3. I had my Ultra Classic, my Fat Boy, which I'd spent a lot of money on that Fat Boy. I mean, $1,000 rims on each wheel, Performance Machine rims, custom rims, and Performance Machine brakes. Put a bigger gas tank, custom paint job, ape hangers, all the cables were chrome. I mean, I spent a fair amount of money on it, and even had the engine rebuilt. It didn't need it, but I wanted more performance, And so anyway, no, I had a lot of fun. I had another bike I was rebuilding. My younger brother Richie, who some of you have met, he had a podcast. He's been slacking lately. He's kind of disappeared for the last couple of months, but I keep trying to find out what's going on. His wife's been really ill. She's got really bad condition, really bad. But anyway, she's doing a little better now. But anyway, so my younger brother Richie's wife Jackie, before this wife, a couple before this wife, I think married about 5 times, would have been 10 times, but one of them wouldn't divorce him for years.
You mean his practice wife?
Yeah, right. She's the one you hear me talk about. They had a great duo together, the Eddings duo, and they were getting written up in the major entertainment papers, columns in Las Vegas as a must-see duo. And he played the guitar and she played keyboards and sang. And I never heard a woman's voice like that before. But anyway, when they got divorced, she moved up to Washington. She got remarried. And the third Harley I had was the one her husband got killed on in Sturgis. He wrecked in Sturgis. And on the Sturgis run, and she sold it to me for what the insurance company was going to give her for it, which was $2,500. And so I took off up to Washington, loaded it on my pickup, and brought it home and was rebuilding it. And I was going to make it kind of a memorial bike to him. I was going to have some custom stuff done on the back fender, John's bike, and I had a picture of him riding it. It had huge ape hangers at the time. I probably couldn't even have reached him. He was about 6'4" or 5, and I was going to kind of make it kind of a little tribute bike to him with a little small graphic on the back fender. And anyway,
I'm the type of person, I experienced this once, and I won't ever do it again. Buy a vehicle from somebody that has passed on, because I believe vehicles are haunted. Because when my daughter was learning how to drive, this is several years before that, my wife's uncle bought this car. This lady had passed away, a little old lady had passed away, and she had this Volkswagen Rabbit. So he buys the car from her estate. Well, next thing you know, her uncle dies.
Okay.
And now the car's for sale, and my daughter needed the car. So I bought the car, and I thought, wait a minute, the previous 2 owners are dead. And now I just bought this for my daughter. Right. And then once my daughter got that car, her attitude changed. I mean, my daughter became somebody I didn't know. I mean, she ran away from home with that car, got in all sorts of trouble with that car.
Was it Christine?
It's similar. But
You're not telling me this is gonna be your last podcast appearance, are you?
Once, it got to the point where I had to actually bring my daughter to court because she was trying to, she dropped out of high school. She's out with this car on the other side of the country, and I finally got her back home. I got the car back, took her wheels away, and she straightened up. She's a good person now, but she went through a terrible phase there.
Oh,
and
wow.
So I told my wife, I said, we're getting rid of this car. This car's been nothing but bad luck ever since it was created. So we sold it to a guy that she worked with.
Okay.
And he said all horrible things happened to that car and him when he owned that car. He finally sold it for scrap. But I don't know. Wow. Don't buy vehicles from dead people.
Yeah. And don't buy the scrap, I guess, because the scrap's haunted too.
But it's just kind of odd, how bad things happen all along the life of that car. Whoever to the owners, whether it be someone dying or just bad things happening. I said it was cursed. That car was cursed.
Yeah,
no wonder I got a good.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm lucky I never got that motorcycle back together. I mean, motorcycle accidents are pretty unforgiving,
Oh, yeah.
I've had motorcycles. Well, I grew up in Henderson, Nevada. You could have a motorcycle license at 14, And so we all had bikes 14. My brother went in the Army at 13, left me a Honda 160, which was a big bike for a 13-year-old. Wasn't supposed to even be riding it. I wasn't old enough yet, but I did every day anyway. But I've been riding I feel like I've rode motorcycles my whole life, And so I always had a great time riding bikes. Always loved bikes. And I can remember my first Harley. I got it when I was 18 years old, and graduating from my Yamahas and Hondas and that kind of stuff, And of course, I have to be able to like pop big wheelies and walk on the back wheel and stuff on my Harley. So
I've never done that.
Well, I did, and I do kind of regret it because you'd get dumped off the bike to where you're trying to hold on to the handlebars that are way up in the air.
Yeah.
At some point, you have to let go. And I mean, watching your Harley careening on one wheel down the road is like enough to.
Yeah, I've never popped a wheelie on my Harley ever. Now my Hondas, I'd ride wheelies all the time. Not as crazy as kids nowadays with these crotch rockets. Oh my God. Right. Yeah, I pop a wheelie for 50 feet,
Yeah.
These guys go miles.
Miles. I was riding my Harley down the Highway 41 on the way to Morro Bay one day, and a guy comes, and they like to get cocky around Harleys in particular, There's that kind of, rice rocket Harley thing that goes on. Mm-hmm. And the guy goes past me with his buddies, and he's on one wheel. And as far as, until he went out of sight, he stayed on one wheel. And and I was at, the speed limit, faster than the speed limit. And I was really impressed.
Now that I'm a little bit older, a lot older, and a lot smarter, I think, why a wheelie? What does that accomplish? That you can do it?
Well,
I don't even understand why I did it.
You're showing off your skills. When I was on the Laughlin River Run, the Hells Angels stayed at the Flamingo, a couple of casinos down. And we go down there on the night when the Hells Angels would line up in the parking lot, and right where where you'd get out on valet and go in, sign in. Right in that space there, they blocked it all off, and they were all taking turns walking on the back wheel. And some of them were wrecking and doing different things, and it was kind of fun to watch.
What made me laugh when I was living in Arizona is when we went to the south side of Phoenix, there was all these guys on mopeds, and they had cuts. They were a moped club.
No way.
I'm serious. They were on them little mopeds. They had their cuts and everything, and like the president.
Well, let me ask you: were they wearing pink socks?
Yeah, I'm sorry. That was my club. My bad. Little crotch rocket.
Well, a friend of mine called me up one time, and he had like 3 Harleys, and I had 3 at the time. The 2 that were running, the one I was rebuilding that I got from my ex-sister-in-law. And he goes, "Hey, they're having the superbike races up in Laguna Seca, by Monterey." He goes, "You want to go?" And I go, he had just bought this new Kawasaki that had the Ninja 1300cc engine in it and 5 onboard computers, and it was just like an insane bike. And he liked those too, and he had a Ducati Monster that he'd modified to be really fast. And I go, yeah, I'd like to go. One condition, though, I'm riding your Ducati, not my Harley. And he goes, okay. I mean, I want to fit in. This is Superbike races. So I rode that thing up there, and you talk about an eye opener. I mean, oh my God, we'd be on the freeway, and I'd hit that throttle. I'd look down. I'm passing through 140. You know, I know what's going on, and then I'm still building speed. And it really actually kind of scared me to be. I hate to admit things like this, but that bike was just. I would have gotten killed on that bike if I'd ridden it too many times. Because you kind of lose a sense of speed, you know. Even on my Harley, I remember I was going to the annual Hollister run, you know, the one that was made famous, and they had a movie with Lee Marvin and Marlon Brando in it, you know. I can't remember what that movie was called, but it was about the first Hollister run where there was a riot and stuff, and fighting with the police and things like that. Anyway, so I went to the Hollister run. I thought, well, let me just see what this little Harley fat boy will do. And I'm laying down, and I'm going as fast as I can. I'd get up around 110. That was before I built the motor for a little more speed. And then I finally turned off on the windy road to go to Hollister. You can't go very fast. But since I was so used to going 90, 100, 110 miles an hour, you know, your sense of speed. I mean, I almost went off the road through a barbed wire fence and down a hill because I was just going too fast on that windy road. It's just really weird the effect that has. Like we've all been in a car and did 100 miles an hour, and you slow down to 60, you feel like you could run that fast, you know?
Yeah.
That reminds me of that scene in that Jim Carrey movie. I think it was Yes Man, where he got on that motorcycle. And they're like, be careful, it's a little powerful. He's like, I'm good. And he goes to hit it, and it's automatically in a wheelie, flying through traffic. That would be me on a bike like that. Oh.
No.
It's also like there's a Pee Wee Herman movie where he wipes out on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
With the bikers, you know, I forgot what the deal was, but the bikers gave him a motorcycle, and he's saying goodbye to him. Whoa, right into a billboard.
Wow. Crazy.
Guys, we've actually hit the 2-hour mark, and it's like 6 o'clock in the morning for me right now.
Okay.
I need sleep. So is there anything you guys want to promote?
Well,
right now.
I can invite real quickly people to come watch my podcast, Royce in the House, YouTube. Yeah, lots of different playlists. It's not just a music podcast. There's tours of famous places and some different things on there. And we've got some fun shows. I think I've got over 50 videos now of the what used to be the unboxing show. We're branching out, doing other things. Last night we didn't unbox any albums. We just talked about all the iconic clubs on the Sunset Strip and the people that hung out there and the things that they did, and had a fun time doing that. We're branching out and doing different things, and you're all welcome. Dan?
I'm just working on learning my 360 camera.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that earlier, Royce, but yeah, I had where's it at?
It's got a cool.
There it is.
Battle scarves, man.
Oh.
Out at the lake trying to get some good 360 shots, and I slipped down an embankment. Almost killed myself.
Oh shit!
That's the danger of being a podcaster, you know.
Yeah, it's a camera. It's a camera on top of a selfie stick, and I just hooked it up. First shot before I even turned the camera on, flat on my back. So I'm doing. I finally got the shot, but I'm bleeding like crazy off my arm.
Oh my God!
I figured I'm there. I'm going to get the shot.
That's the most metal thing I've ever heard.
Mike, is there anything that you want to promote?
Actually, there is.
Yeah.
Check out Pink Sock Podcast. No, I'm going to be on Dabs with Dads later on tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is on YouTube. Dabbing with Dads is a YouTube channel. It's a stoner podcast, so go check it out.
Yeah, and our good friend Kathy Grant's got this Susie Quattro guy.
Susie, is that Kip Winger? She has Winger on the show. That's freaking awesome.
Susie Quattro. But Ryan Roxy on her show, this month?
This Saturday, March the 12th.
The Saturday?
Yeah, so guys, go and support Royce, Dan, Mike.
Thank you.
Why support Mike? This is his show.
Go support Gorak. He's got a show.
Yeah,
Pink Sock.
and support the podcast and support Kathy Grant, because if you don't, this motherfucker will kill you.
Nobody wants that.
Guys, thank you so much. And
there's
until next
also
time, guys.
the Voice It show has a guest this Thursday.
They do. I don't know who it is, but it's somebody.
West. Yeah.
Bridget West.
Yeah.
No relation to Bridget the midget.
Oh, damn it.
I want to thank you guys for all letting me on. I really had a good time. I thank everybody in the chat.
Anytime we don't have a guest, you're more than welcome on, dude.
Oh, well, thank you. I got to get going. I started out having a really good start on my work schedule this morning, which is pretty long.
And I stole him.
Yeah. So I got to get back to that. I've had a couple of calls, some that I was waiting for, since I've come on.
Did you tell them that you had something? You have something better, important things to do?
We're talking to Gorak, and he's famous.
Yeah.
I started to, but then my wife opened the door and frowned at me because I wasn't working.
Oh,
you're working. You're just not getting paid for it.
Yeah, like me.
I think that's part of the problem.
Wait,
okay, well,
you guys are getting paid?
I got to go, guys. Thank you very much. See you, Dan.
We're
thank you for
later.
Stories and showing.
All right, guys.
I'm out here too.
And remember, live long, die hard, rock hard.
No, rock hard. Yeah, die hard.
And
what is
there we
that
go.
guy too.
Is that from Australia? Go ahead.
He should fight the kangaroo. All right, guys. Peace out.
See you later.
See ya.
And cut.
Bye.
Wait, no.